What's going on, guilty guys and gals? Okay, we're right in here, huh? I don't remember what I was doing. Well, it's the Ace Attorney with your friend, you know. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Maybe. The scuff mark, maybe. It could be the log. Actually, is it the log? Seaman Stroganoff. Also, I was going to say this the other time, but I forgot. All those lines across his face that I thought were like from a ventilator or something are freaking the snake's coils. I can't believe it. Also, where's the snake? It's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship, isn't that right?
Duh, that is correct. Why?
And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties.
What are you doing with that? That is mine.
Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. Bureau is French for desk. But, as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later.
I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always.
The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all.
Nothing recorded in the log? That is... Duh, because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you'd normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? It had to. It had to pick her up.
Stop talking rubbish.
If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anyone could sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. It was undercover. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We've all suffered with it. Oh, yes. I've had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. Man, I can't imagine trying to solve a crime with a killer headache. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Did they drug the food? That's crazy. Then, the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, Well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Oh, well, Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, then, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. No, that is exactly what I mean. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be possible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes! Surely not be possible unless they were all conspirators. Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Mm-hmm. Please, no more. I will tell everything.
But,
I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Haha, because they're Russian, get it? Haha. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
we all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw away everything. Our fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel.
I don't believe it.
You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night.
Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Oh, come on. It wasn't even like a sprinkling of anything. It was like literally a pill.
Duh, we could not make all drug, how you say, dissolve.
Ugh, talk about heavy seasoning.
At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat.
Well, all the passengers of the SS Burya slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. But the emergency stop happened to pick her up, right? Maybe I'm just inferring that and it's not true. They just stopped for her because everybody was asleep. And then she emergency stopped and they were like,
Oh, do not press that button. Very funny.
I don't know. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins. after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes! The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find their door locked in the morning. They probably would have assumed, like we did, that maybe there was just a bumpy night or something, I don't know. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning.
You have talked long time and said many things. What is point?
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I am just a little girl.
You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We do not believe.
Oh, sure. There's never been a story told by sailors that was long, sure.
Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes, and also believed in sirens and such things, and sea monsters.
A laudable trait.
What?
I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction.
What are you talking about?
I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. Oh man, they really like these, huh? So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said of these two prevaricators. I don't know about that. Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So, we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Oh. Stroganoff. It was you. Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of their white uniform there.
Yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from.
So nothing in particular comes to mind about that stain?
What are you trying to say?
It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. And I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. All right, then. Evidence that proves what the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is. Where's the thing with the ink? I don't know where the ink is going to be. Written in purple ink. Oh, yeah. Right? Yes. Got it.
Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink?
A rather unusual color of ink. Purple.
Ugh.
Ah, the penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. I guess all ink is kind of purple. And maybe not red ink, to be fair. But who would be using red ink in this time period? Oh.
And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color.
If the ink had been dry, it couldn't have possibly stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled.
Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Boria to emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
Biff, please.
Beef, that's Biff.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
Biff, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend.
That's one way to put it. Jeez.
Everything happened at cabin. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you.
The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asoki's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor?
Yes, that is right.
So, after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers. Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor.
She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel. The door was not locked. So she opened to look and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing. If you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside,
I was asking Miss Pavlova.
Well, Miss Pavlova?
Da. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you.
So, is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took it myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. At the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there's one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural.
what do you mean unnatural?
What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? What are you, Byakuya? Well... It's his head, right? Which part of this photograph print seems unnatural? It's gotta be the head, right? Because if he broke his neck, he'd either be facing the ground or on his back, right? He wouldn't be like facing to the side all wistfully. Right? I don't know what else it could be because the hands were arranged. So. Not the head? Piece of advice regarding the pursuit of detection. They were open. Whoops. And it can be equally helpful to use them. So what is it then?
I think it's plain what Mr. Sholmes means by unnatural, isn't it? If the word written in a forged language underneath his fingertips, surely.
That particular crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. No, I mean to identify another point. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. Would you land as the victim has? What of your hands? Is it because his hand isn't open? Is that what you're saying? You look like the sort of fellow who stumbles with some regularity, and this should be an easy task. I do? With some terrible stroke of luck broke his neck. Which part of his photograph seems unnatural? I guess they knew that that was kind of like a weird thing to say. But I guess you'd hold your hands outward to try to catch yourself, right? But you don't always have time to do that. I don't know.
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right.
The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something?
What do you mean?
Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago.
You did?
And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow?
Mr. Sholmes, show us, please!
Why, of course, my dear madame. Would I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Oh, no.
Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle.
Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us?
Humph, it tells us nothing.
I'm not so sure.
The crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before.
Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key.
What?
The truth is now tantalizingly close.
How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist?
That is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Stroganoff has it as an earring. Oh, where did the crescent moon come from? Well, it came from this ear. Okay.
Right ear! Smash! Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear, even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part seems to be missing. The little link holding it must have broken, I suppose.
What?
But looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon.
Oh! I don't believe it!
Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. That must have hurt, damn! Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor.
In other words, last night, in Mr. Asogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments?
Oh, no.
Angel.
No one can protect you now. Stroganoff just dissolved. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
Here.
Yeah.
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and could relax after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back.
What? I don't know who this could be. Oh, this is Kazuma. Kazuma thinking that it's Inspector Osanaga. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin...
Just a moment. Sorry, but...
Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him?
You're just gonna ask Naruhodo? Really?
Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me...
Dang.
I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
Tell me the captain wasn't in on this, only the crew? That's weird. They had to stop the boat to get her on, right? And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway.
I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said,
Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go.
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door?
Yes. I went into cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping.
Right. That's when he found me.
So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed wardrobe doors and put strange paper sign back.
Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent.
I dragged young man's body to good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote wardrobe so that the person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway.
And tell me, what of the glass bell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I did not notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job.
By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway?
Yes.
Accordingly, the SS Burya did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 p.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating our locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said you told Cosmo about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes.
But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem?
It was what he said first that made me scared.
What he said first? What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector? I see. Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
He said an inspector was his friend.
Yes, meaning me. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard.
I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm not Cosma, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done it.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes, what action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed, or whither, as in like, where his gaze? Jeez. First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still, that cabin has been my home for this entire voyage.
So, this is how the cabin looked last night, when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama.
Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? Oh. I meant to present it. Take that! Okay. Are we not going to court then? I thought we'd be going to court. Considering everything that happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes. Yes, however. What is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And, more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh, no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you'd made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had.
Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But, unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that'll never change. I hope you'll never forget that.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done?
Yikes. And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. And then they executed her. Yay, everybody wins. What'll happen to Miss Pavlova now, then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. I'm glad to see your glasses magically repaired, my friend. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Oh, repatriate her, I guess. Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort that all out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? So, she won't be going back to Russia, then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she'd be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see.
I'm sorry.
Seaman Stroganoff?
I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police.
That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you?
Duh.
Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes. I did stow away, after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. How unnerving to have to spend the rest of the trip in your dead best friend's cabin. Great. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. To think that only days ago Cosmo and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. It seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh. Susato-san?
Naruto-san, I didn't know you'd returned.
Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. Oh.
I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that.
Susato-san.
He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much.
Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Oh no, it's Hosonaga. Well, close enough.
Inspector.
My duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now at Huh? Surprised, Mr. Naruhodo? What's the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say. You're a stowaway, after all. He thinks this is funny? Jeez.
Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is a truly heartrending. I hope you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be? In the light of Mr. Usogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no, I don't care for me, but for Sasada-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but...
But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
Yes.
Miss Sasato,
Yes?
do you think perhaps I might be able to do it?
Huh?
But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But, as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain.
Mr. Naruhodo?
That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learnt enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I'll become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Sasato? Just like Phoenix Wright. Studied law because of his love interest. Although I guess... No, yeah, because she got put in jail and then die. So it's kind of the same, right? What do you say, Miss Sasato?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you. I really thought she was going to flip me for a second. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? You are bespectacled. Like a certain band we were talking about. Oh my lord, it comes around full circle. One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, no, no! It's madness! Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating. Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? I have no qualifications to speak of. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt and a killer headache, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Almost the Triforce, but he is a wimp. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector! After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here.
Oh, thank you, Inspector.
If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer?
I'd be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this.
What? Me? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations.
Kuruma Kenji? That's Von Karma, by the way. Japanese, anyway. Very well. I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Miss Sasato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet.
Oh, it'll be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And, for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study.
Yes, that's exactly what I need.
But, before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too.
Goodness, what is it?
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times!
What?
I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the...
No! I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should have never thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times!
The number keeps creeping up, doesn't it?
Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it! Don't even think about it!
No. I wouldn't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling?
Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujitsu technique.
Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. Look out! He'll get you! Ah! There we go. Oh god! There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madame.
Oh, of course.
She's gonna throw me again. Susato, wait, no, please.
Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Hi-ya! As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no, that was a Susato squash.
I'm just gonna sleep here, I think. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Oh god, not swords. Kuruma? That's right. It's a prize sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryusuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Kuruma guides me. I truly believe that. So, its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. Doom 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 doom. Wild. So we had one just court case and one just investigation case. That's kind of crazy. These must be really long, or maybe they like went back and wrote like 4 full cases and then just like decided, or 3 full cases and were like, well, instead of trying to do more, the one runaway room. How many is there? Yeah, there's 5. Okay. Unspeakable story. Ooh. Clouded Kokoro. Oh no! Not Kokoro again. And the runaway room. Interesting. Well, I guess that's where we'll be starting next time. On Friday. That episode 3 looks very close to the like font and positioning of the Star Wars episode 3 thing, so I think Darth Vader might be the culprit of this one. I'm not sure. I guess it would be Anakin Skywalker, to be fair. Alright, well, thanks for watching, everyone. I don't know. I don't know if I like that case or not. It's hard to say. The first one was pretty great, but I feel like maybe both of these were just a little longer than they needed to be. So I'll be interested to see the pacing of like a full-on case for the runaway room. Alright. So yeah, like and subscribe. I will see you next time. I don't know whose voice I want to do.
Have a good day, da.